Profit Facebook page. I am just finishing up with a Canva instructional video that I was just putting together showing people how to use their Mimo Live and using Mimo Live as their camera. And of course, at the moment I start my camera, I'd been on video now for about an hour and a half, and not one of my children came to me until I just went live. Now two of the five are here. Yes, yes, and yes. All right. They wanted to ask me if they could have some candy. And just so they can get rid of them quickly, yes, they know when to ask me if they can have some candy. That's when I'm busy. All right, so the instructional Canva for how to use Mimo Live as your camera so you can share your screen, so you can conduct interviews and all that kind of stuff is being recorded as we speak, and I'm going to end that broadcast right now, or that recording right now. Stop recording. Oops, and my Canva just popped up so I can begin editing. All right, so I'm going to edit that a little bit later today. It should be up by the end of the day today, and it's the instructional. It shows you everything, how to set up your Mimo Live, how to open up your Facebook Live from your browser, how to select Mimo Live as your camera, what typically happens when you do that you have to back out of it and then come back into it again, and all that kind of stuff. So it'll be in there. It'll be available shortly. All right. So since I went live on my browser, which I am on right now, so I went live on my browser in Create, Launch, and Profit because my Facebook Live TV show, I don't have a button to go live on Facebook from my browser, which is kind of ironic, right? Is that the one page that I have that's a Facebook Live related TV show does not have the button to go Facebook Live, but Create It, Launch It, Profit does, and so that's just as good. All right, so a bunch of questions came up, and one thing that I'm loving right now, and it actually does make me look slightly better than my horrible normal self, but I got a new camera. As you can tell, I'm back into my studio. Just 2 days ago, the Labrador Retriever Hazel was running around, or somehow got into the cables and wires of my studio, and got frightened as she got stuck within the wires of the Logitech 920 and broke the UBS. Oh, I already took the camera out. It was like completely tweaked, like 90 degrees, and I could not fix it. I tried all kinds of different things to get it to work again. So I ordered a brand new camera. The good news is, thank God for the dog, because apparently that camera must have been going out because I'd spent, way too many minutes, and not quite hours, but minutes trying to solve the lighting issue with that particular camera. It was always washed out, or it didn't look right. The reds in my shirts were always this really bright red that was like overwhelming, at least from what I was seeing. I'm not sure what you guys were seeing, but I'm trying to do a professional job here, and I've spent way too much time adjusting the video and the lighting until I get it right. Well, I plugged this one in, and it just went perfect. I have two standard lights that are over here that are shining in, and that's to take away from the shadows from behind. Now you could use a three lighting system, which is usually recommended, another light from behind that will take away more of the shadows. But the green screen capabilities in so much of the software is just so much better than when I first started using green screen, where you had to be really perfect and use all the different settings and get them all just right, where almost instantaneously, other than a couple adjustments, things work out pretty well. Because right now, even though I can see a little bit of a shadow behind me, it really is not affecting the green screen. So thank God to Hazel breaking my Logitech, because now that I have a new one, it obviously needed to be replaced, because from all the travels, I would take that place in my backpack, and that camera would get bounced around, that kind of stuff. So obviously some of the internal stuff stop working. All right, so if you want to comment to me directly, that's a question that comes up because this video, this live video from Facebook Live, gets broadcast out to other Facebook pages. I think there's a total of 11 or 12 pages that this particular video in my software gets sent out to 11 or 12 different Facebook pages. And so if you're in, let's say you're in, I'm trying to think which one it might be in, the retreat, the mastermind retreat. If you're watching the mastermind retreat, if you comment on that Facebook page that you see me broadcasting, I will not see the comment when I'm broadcasting live from my browser. The only place that I will see a comment is if you're in and on my Create It, Launch It, Profit page. All right, so that can be confusing. One of the things that some of the engineers, I guess, the people that are creating this software, these apps and things like that, they're trying to, at least a few of them, are trying to figure out how do we make it possible. Now, LiveLeap supposedly was supposed to solve that solution. Well, that it doesn't work for me, and I've been in there a couple times, and the comments that will eventually show up, but they don't show up live when I'm streaming for some reason, and I think they're supposed to. I don't bother asking their support any questions anymore because I never get any answers. So I don't use their support for much anymore. And I've complained about as much as I possibly can. I know people who have got into LiveLeap and left it almost immediately because they didn't get any answers from their support. But it does work, right? It does transmit to all those other Facebook pages all at the same time. And does work on that level, but that's the problem. So that was one of the questions. Like somebody just said, well, if I want to comment, how do I comment? Because you're not seeing my comment. You have to be in the Create, Launch, and Profit. So if you're in the business, right, if you're in the business of broadcasting, if you're a broadcaster, that's one thing you got to make sure and tell people is that if you want to comment and interact with me directly, if I'm only broadcasting from my Facebook page, but I'm broadcasting at the same time to other pages, you need to tell them where to go. So direct them, and they can do that by going to the top of your broadcast, and they'll see that it's being shared from whatever page that you're broadcasting from directly. So they just need to go to that link and click on it, and then they'll come over to your Create, Launch, and Profit page, or your Facebook page, not your Create, Launch, and Profit page. All right, so that was one of the questions I got up. The other one was about lighting. Now I'm going to do a separate lighting video in Create, Launch, and Profit private group and in the Facebook Live private group. So we'll talk about lighting a little bit more extensively in there. And that's a really, really good question. And just to give you a few things that I do, I have this light here. Oops, as I bang everything. Is it showing? This light is pretty cool. I don't actually know how much it is, but it's a LED lighting. And well, that's really weird how that shows up on there. And you as a dial, and it goes bright and down and that kind of stuff. And it's kind of inexpensive. I got this one as a gift from Mike Koenig's for being a part of one of the events that I went to, or either that was a VIP or something like that. But it's really good lighting. It's soft. It's easy to travel with and take around. It doesn't come with a tripod. It's just this thing here. And just screws into a tripod, and you can use it that way. You put it on a smaller tripod that is like one of those little flexible things that looks like an octopus with 3 legs, and sits there, and then you can screw onto the top of it, and that'd be like a little desktop version. But it's really good. So I really like that lighting. I have all kinds of lighting that I'm messing with right now to figure out the best configuration, and I thank God for the new Logitech, because I don't have to mess with it as much as I thought I was going to have to, and change too much. All right, so it is important. The lighting in particular is important if you're going to use green screen stuff. You want to make sure that you have your lighting down fairly well so that it isn't causing you any issues. Now you can see on this hand here, I'm going out and I'm having to crop because of some of the configuration of my room. So I've cropped in my the window that I have to show on the camera because because of the oh gosh, what is it? What I'm looking for? The way the camera works, because I have it so far away from me. I'm not like Molly Mahoney and want to be like right in front of the camera. I like to have some distance, and so because I've created distance, there's things that are here that I don't want you to see, like the standards that are holding up the green screen, right? Or the clips that are holding up the green screen. I want you to see those because it would look really bad, right? And so you can bring in the sides of in Mimo Live so that those things just basically disappear. So I'm a little bit thinner here as far as my green drop is concerned, but it's because my camera's set so far back. A webcam typically or often is just sitting on top of your computer or your laptop. I have mine on a tripod, and I wish I could kind of turn things around so you could see it. But I'm gonna make sure and do some of that in the private groups that we have going on right now, and very active. I woke up to like a bunch of new members in the Facebook Live private group, and I'm so happy that you guys decided to join me. Some people have already mentioned that when they watched the John North Facebook Live video and really liked it. So and that's really, really cool. All right, one of the other questions. Let me see. I think Yael had a question on something here. Let me go back. Sorry, I had it up, and because I was messing around, I took it away. She needs the live. So so those of you that may have missed it in Mimo Live, there's a lot of people, or a lot. There was a few people who contacted me and said they could not get into get whatever app they were using, whether using BeLive or Blue Jeans or maybe even Camtasia, to recognize Mimo Live as a camera selection. And what you need is a plugin, and there's a plugin that you can use. That you have to use in order for it to come up as a camera as in one of those other platforms. And so you need to have that plugin. If you go to Mimo Live, if you go to boinks.com or .org or whatever the website is, Boinks, if you go to Boinks website where Mimo Live is sold from, that's the name of the company that sells Mimo Live, go to support for Mimo Live and you'll find it in there. Just type in using Mimo Live as your camera. And it's just straightforward. It pops right up, and you just click on the download for that. And Mark said, actually, let me go to that. I'm going to go to it right now. How about that? I want to know why Yahoo's showing up as my search engine when I go. When I go to. Oh, no, all of a sudden I can't find Boinks. Hold on. When I go to my browser now, I haven't used the Yahoo since the 80s. Oh, I misspelled Boinks, that's why. I'm a horrible speller, just so you guys know. Not good at all. All right. Crud. This is going to take longer than I thought. Oh, you have a selection here, Mark. I'm not sure. Well, maybe not. Maybe just my computer just comes up. So I think he did call tech support, and tech support was even stumped as to why Mark could not get. I'm not going to find it fast enough. And you guys, I know, love it when I do this. I should already had it up and running. All right, so. There was that one. Then let's see. Let's look at the other. There was another question here that came up. I'm so sorry, and it had to do with.
I can't find the answer to the question I
heard. Somehow I must have said Alexa. Alexa tried to answer a question. Let's see. Oh, okay, quick question. I am going to do Facebook Live show. Create a Facebook Live show. Are the first steps to create a fan page? And then a group, and the answer is yes. It doesn't matter what order you create them in, just that you need both. And I run through all of that in the Create It, Launch It private group. There's a series of videos, and one in particular that I put up in regard to creating the pages, things you need to consider, and then other tools that you may need in order to make that private group a paid private group where people have to pay to get in. And so yes, that is the way to go. You want to have a place, and this is something that I was building over a period of time, where I had the public page, the fan page of, say, the Facebook Live TV show, where I began to create interest by creating videos, right? Interviewing people, talking about training, talking about the tools, uploading eventually a list of the tools that I'm using currently to run a Facebook Live, creating interest in traffic. And then the group, which had been there, a gate for people to go into the group for a low fee. Right now it's $9.99, where we will go further in depth into how to use all the tools and the gadgets and that kind of stuff. So you have the public page where you give good information, right? You give things that people can learn from. You want them to continue to want to use it. But when you get into a place where you're coaching and teaching and using your resources and purchasing things and buying them to find out if they work or not, and then reporting on them, at some point you need people to help you in that endeavor by having them to go to a place to learn more and get more in-depth instruction, where they can even go on live and interact with you and have one-on-one coaching in some cases if they decide to use the Blue Jeans link to come on live on a Facebook Live. And that is a great place for them to go in a private group. And it adds value, right, to what it is you're doing to be able to bring them on and talk to them. And so there's nothing wrong with adding a gate to a private group where you're going to go more into depth of what it is that you are experiencing and doing and using as tools. But still, on the fan page, you want to make sure and give good information so that people at least can go there to get some of the first steps on how to do stuff and find out what it is you're doing and report on things that are happening. Like, hey, Facebook just now created a button to go live, and that's exactly what I'm doing now, right? And I'm talking about what it is you can do, all the capabilities and possibilities, and what you can and can't do. All right, so the next question, I finally found my list here. It got way buried. It was whether you can interview from this browser application in Facebook, and the answer is no. You can't interview somebody else on camera right now. Now, the thought is that they're going to be able to because they have that ability in Messenger. So if they have it in Messenger, I'm sure that it's not long until you're going to be able to interview people on camera wherever they are in the world. But at this moment, with this button at this time on my browser, it is not available to be able to do that. So what do you need to be able to do that? And that is Blue Jeans is the easiest way, or Be Live. Be Live, you can interview one other person, right? And so you have one person, one-on-one. You can do that. I did that the other day with Molly Mahoney. It was fantastic. With Blue Jeans, you can have multiple people. So one other person, or depending on what level you purchase as a membership of Blue Jeans, you can have 5. You can have up to 50. Again, depending on which level. Right now, I currently have the ability to have 50 people on camera at different times on one single broadcast, and up to 3,000 people actually interacting, but up to 50 people. Now, would I ever need that? Probably not. I can't imagine ever needing that, but that is the capabilities of Blue Jeans. Now, using Mimo Live, Wirecast, OBS, you can interview somebody. You just need to bring them in through another channel, like Google Hangouts or YouTube Live, I think. But Google Hangouts I know has worked for other people. And I think Skype has worked for other people. So you need to bring them in using another platform and then direct them into the feed of those other platforms, OBS or Wirecast or whatever. I don't do that and didn't have to learn how to do that because I have Blue Jeans. So I haven't had to do that yet. And so who does that right now? John McCabe. I think Dean Renfro does that very effectively with some of his guests that are on there. Who else? I think Mark has had interviews, Weisenberger, of some of the people that are in our channel. I think Charmaine might have even done it too. I'm not 100% sure, but I think Charmaine might have tried it. But she may have been using Blue Jeans. I don't remember. Molly Mahoney, she uses Be Live and interviews people one-on-one. All right, so there's other ways of doing that, but simply through the browser, no. You're going to need some other type of tool or something else to do that. Sharing the screen. Sharing the screen capabilities is not available on the Facebook browser option at this moment. Is it going to be coming up? I bet you it is, but it's currently not available. All right, you're going to need OBS, Mimo Live, Wirecast, or something like that to be able to do that. All right, you can't do it in Be Live. Be Live does not have that capability, but Blue Jeans does. Blue Jeans allows you to share your screen and other people to share their screen. So if you, I was interviewing Will Irish. Did I do it with him? No, I did it with Nicolette, the queen of Canva. When I was interviewing her, she shared her screen and showed us exactly what she was doing. And she was on my broadcast, but she had a link to Blue Jeans that allowed her to use her desktop. All right, so that answers those questions. And I think that's it for some of the questions that came up. All right, we're going to go deeper again in our private group. And the video that I created to use Mimo Live as your camera in a Facebook Live on your browser, just created that recording to come live onto this broadcast. That will be in there by the end of the day, or at least first thing in the morning. All right, so that will be available. All righty. Let me go back to, I have to find the window. I have so many windows open here because I wanted to show you so much. Here we go. All right. Oh, Barb McLean. Andy, you've got so much going on. Where do I start with what you've created? I notice that sometimes when you post something on Facebook and it's through LiveLeap, then it says attachment unavailable. Why is that? I noticed that with Mike Koenig's sites too. I'm going to have to check that out. I'm not sure what you're seeing because I've never experienced attachment unavailable. I don't know what that means or why that is even showing up. I have not experienced that, so I don't know what it is. I'm going to have to, because Yael just posted or said the same thing. And so much going on. Where do I start with what you've created? So Barbara, I think the answer to your question in regard to that is that if it has anything to do with Facebook Live, you definitely want to be in the Facebook Live producers group. Go in there, and that's where anything related to Facebook Live is going to be going on. And there is some crossover right into the Create It, Launch It, Profit, which is all about product creation. So those things that are like membership sites and that kind of stuff, or how do you lead people in, through a sales funnel to sell them something, some type of product. That's in Create It, Launch It, Profit. So we're going to address those things. Now the crossover is using Facebook Live to create both those products and to do a lot of stuff in those products. So there is a crossover, but Facebook Live Producers Group, it was about everything that has to do with producing Facebook Live. So that depends on where you're starting. Are you starting on, and I think you're starting on your Facebook Live broadcast, then I would definitely start there. And I had thought about putting them both together, but I think that even becomes a little bit more confusing because now it's jumping clearly to two different subjects. And I could do that in one day. Like in one day, I'll be talking about product creation and Facebook Live. And so I needed a place to have them separately, almost like a file cabinet, right? It's in the file of Facebook Live, goes in this file. All the videos and files that in regard to Create, Launch, and Profit goes in this file. And I needed to create two different things to be able to do that. So just know, if there's crossover, like the John North interview in regard to Facebook ads, that covers both. You're going to need Facebook ads not only for Facebook Live and creating interest sometimes, what is you're talking about, and maybe repurposing your replay of your Facebook Live through a Facebook advertisement. So it was important there. It's also important to Create It, Launch It, Profit in regard to your product. So that interview, you can find it in both. When I'm talking specifically about Facebook Live stuff, typically you'll find it just in the Facebook Live producers group. And when I'm talking about creating a product, you'll find that specifically in the product Facebook page. I hope that was the answer to the question you were asking. The other one, I'm not sure. I don't know what's happening in regard to attachments not being found. Now, I have heard that there's been glitches that have been discovered once you open up a business manager account within Facebook. That for some reason, when you go live on a page and Lively tries to broadcast, it says that. I think that might be the thing that it says. I just now, for the first time, opened a business manager, and I was hesitant to do so, but because of some stuff I was doing with John North, I needed to open one, and I could have created that problem, and that could be that thing. I've heard Ryan Stelonophagus, that guy that I'm friends with but can't pronounce his last name. He mentioned that when I was on his show the other day, that because he was asking me for a solution. I go, man, I don't know. I'm not experiencing what that is, and that is that some people can't see what it is you're doing, and it's being blocked by the business manager. And apparently Facebook has people looking into it or working on it, but there's not been a solution to it. So maybe that's it. I wish I could tell you definitively whether that is it or not, but I don't know. All right. So I hope I answered that question. So the last one I had is the 30 days, writing a book for a day for 30 days. Why am I doing that? And we're going to go in a little bit more detail as to why I'm doing that. Hello, son. Come here. Make an appearance. Oh, there you are. Look at the camera. There. Those beautiful eyes. How you doing, buddy? You doing good? Did you know I'm writing a book a day for 30 days? Huh? You did? Mm-hmm. What are they about? What's it about?
Bells.
What?
Bells.
Bows?
Bells.
Bells?
Bells.
A translator? Can I get a translator, please? What is it about?
Bells.
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 I don't know what he's saying. Dogs.
Bells.
It's about dogs.
Oh, yeah. Dogs. Oh, yeah, Dad.
All right, say goodbye to everybody. Say goodbye to your fans.
Bye.
All right. Go. I'll be done in a minute. All right. A book a day for 30 days. Okay, so I saw these folks, and I think I mentioned this before in one of the other broadcasts, but I saw folks doing these other challenges of doing a Facebook Live every day for 100 days or whatever it is. I see people, doing them, at the beach and from restaurants. And Molly Mahoney, I think, does 3 a day and 4 a day sometimes, as far as I can tell. And I go, man, I do a lot, but I don't know if I could do 1 a day every day for 100 days. I mean, it's really hard to sometimes come up with something that's really halfway interesting or worth even getting on the camera for, right? And so I could not imagine doing that. But Bruce Jones, I always want to say Bruce Lee. Bruce Lee, I as a kid in the 70s, I was a huge fan of Bruce Lee's. So anytime I say Bruce's name, I want to say Bruce Lee. So Bruce Jones. Bruce Jones had been talking to me about these books and the process of writing a book. That he goes, it's so easy. You got to do it. You got to follow this. Just follow my plan of how to write these books, and you can do a ton of them in all kinds of different subjects and knock one out very quickly. And I believed him, but I just never got off the horse to actually do it. And so finally, about 3 or 4 days ago, I don't know what I was listening to, or somebody else brought it up. I can't remember who. Maybe it was Jen Foster. And, it was a mastermind. It was at our mastermind group. We have a bi-weekly call that we do where we got on these phone calls. I got to tell you, the mastermind group that I belong to, those folks have changed my life. And there is so much good discussions in there and so much intelligence and knowledge that I grow after every phone call. So if you're not a member of a mastermind group, you need to be a member of a mastermind group. And in particular, ours. We have one coming up in May that's going to be in Victoria, British Columbia. And if you are not there, you are silly. You need to be there because we're going to be talking about some great stuff and giving you some great stuff. But anyway, so it was one of our calls. Sorry, I went on a tangent there. It was one of our calls that we went on. And I see Molly Mahoney. I'm going to broker. No? All right, sorry, I'm getting a ton of messages here. And so during that call, he talked about this aspect of creating a book and how easy it was. And so I go, you know what, I'm going to get off this call and create a book. And the first one I took me about 4 or 5 hours. The next one after that, way down to about an hour. And now I'm down to about 15 minutes a book, right? So now every day for 30 days, hold on, buddy. Every day for 30 days, I'm going to be writing a book and publishing it. And I'm on day 7, I believe. And I'm on track and was able to get a book done this morning at about 15 minutes. Got it completely up and running, published, got the cover. And it's a tangible book. Where is it? Where's my book? Hey, Bowie, can you hand me that book that's on that desk right there? And I'll show you how thick it is. It's a thick book. Yeah, hand it to me. And my first proof of the very first one that came out, and here you go. This is the first book of the 30. It's probably going to be more than 30 because even though I like this cover, I'm going to test another cover to see what it looks like. Hold on, I'm looking for. I can't see my window here. So yeah, so it's a thick book. It's 241 pages. It's probably thicker than it should be. I was thinking about dropping it down maybe a little bit just because this makes it, I have to sell it for at least $9 and something cents. That's the minimum I could sell it for. And so I priced it at $10.99. And so I'm going to do one of these days. So why even do that? Why bother? Because people buy these books, number one. That's number one, and I've seen it, and I've seen people doing really well on them. Jen Foster and Melanie, they are a team, Hot Chicks Writing Books or something like that. I forget what their site is. Hot Chicks Write Books. They publish and help other people publish their books. They're doing a great job with this particular style of book, and it's going really well. And it's going to create interest in what it is that I'm doing on the dog side of things and as a creator. So being a creator and now being a coach in the creating niche and helping other people create stuff, whether it's Facebook Live, TV shows, or products, being able to show that I can write a book a day for 30 days is just one other thing that is powerful, I think, in the end. It shows them that if I can do it, they can do it. It shows them a solid thing that I can hand to them and say, here you go. This is one of the 30 books that I wrote in 30 days. And they look at it and they go, you got to be kidding me. You're selling these? Yes, I've already sold them. I already have sales from the first, I think in the first 4 books, I already sold one of each right away, and others I got it this morning, and more had sold. So because of this strategy, because of the gates that I have on the Facebook Live TV shows, I have had sales every day. I've woken up to sales that were made while I was sleeping. And that hence that banner that you see in Create, Launch, and Profit that says make money while you sleep. I every day now for the last 5 or 6 days, I've woken up to PayPal announcements that somebody's paid me for something, or I log into Create Space and see that people have purchased my book. All right. Now, as I go in as a 6-time #1 best-selling author, 4-time international best-selling author, also the author of now 50, well, not now, at the end of the 30 days, I'll be the author of 45 books, right? All that's good stats, all that's good stuff. It's all proof, and I think it's a good strategy. And so not only am I just writing books, not that I'm just writing books, but I'm writing books that sell and that people like. And so that's the power of it. You put all that together, I think it's a really good strategy. And I'm going to let you know at the end how it worked. I can give away these books at events and say, here you go, take one of my books and sign it and give it to them, and they can take it home and they'll actually use this book. These are books that they'll actually use. And it's not just going to be on the subject of dogs. Right now it's going to be on the subject of dogs, but it's not only going to be on the subject of dogs. I imagine within the next couple months I'll probably have written probably 50 of these books. I can see it because I'm having these other ideas. I'm dedicated to these 30 that I'm going to do now. But after that, I already have like 10 subject matters that I've already jotted down that I'm going to create another book for. All right, so I covered a lot on this particular broadcast, more than I think I really was interested in doing in the beginning, but and more than my kids definitely are interested in doing because they're staring at me right now. I covered a lot of different things. So I will finish that recording that I made starting up this Facebook Live, this particular Facebook Live, and how I got Mimo Live ready, how I was able to then set it up as my camera in Facebook because Facebook didn't recognize it at first. There's a couple steps you have to take in order to do that. I go through how to do that. That I created in Canva. I will edit that slightly just so that you can see things a little bit better. I'll have that up, and I hope to have it up by tonight. All right, I got a few things I got to do with the kids and slap them in the shape and do some other stuff. So we're going to do that, and then that will be in. I'll actually put it probably in both the private groups, the Facebook Live private group and the Create, Launch, and Profit book Facebook page, because I think both can benefit from that particular video. All right, hey Nobby, glad to see you. Always happy to see Nobby. He's one of my biggest contributors to my show. I love how much he contributes. It's great having the contribution from people. Wow, that's not an easy word to say. But just some of the people that I see quite often on here. Dean Renfro is another one, has some really great stuff. If you haven't found Dean yet, I will make sure and try to share his live videos when they come on. You want to be on when Dean has some great stuff to talk about. Really, really good stuff about success and motivational talks that he gives and subject matter. And on Sundays, you want to definitely watch his message, whether you're a Christian or not. He talks about things that are just things you should know as a human being. And so I think the message, obviously getting it from the Bible, is one, if you're a Christian, you're going to want to listen to. But even if you're not, the way that he talks about it and the things he talks about because of those stories in the Bible or because of those books in the Bible, they give you some really good knowledge base that just if you're not interested in being Christian, if you can remove that part of it, you'll still get a ton of it. So Dean Renfro is definitely somebody you want to follow. Barbara McLean, you definitely want to follow with her shelter dogs. And if you have any interest in shelter dogs, rescue dogs, that kind of stuff, follow what it is she's doing. And if you know anybody in the shelter rescue business, make sure and share her link of her program. It's Kids. Barbara, quick, help me. Kids. Hold on. Kids Club. Kids. Club. Shelter Kids Club. I had all the words, but not in the right order. Shelter Kids Club. All right, so that's, you just go to facebook.com, Shelter Kids Club. I will put it in the chat here. Actually, let me just do that too. All right, so here's Barb McLean's. You're going to want to make sure and go there and like her page and share it. Oh, Oh, that was mine. All right, let's see. Now where's Dean Renfro? Oops. Dean Renfro. Dean Renfro Live. I'll give you that one. That's a good one. Here, I'm going to share his. Make sure and share and like what he's doing. And then those other friends of mine saying, hey, I have a Facebook Live page. That how come you're not sharing my? Well, because it's not coming to my head right now. All right, here's Dean Renfro. I'm sure Nobby has something, but nothing's coming to my mind right now. Everybody will get their chance, I promise. So don't feel left out. I will find. So these are my two for the day. Dean Renfro and Barbara McLean. I look at her name, I want to say Barbara McLean because that's what it actually says, but it's McLean. And so go to their pages, like their pages, share their pages, and just let people know about them. I mean, that's one thing I want to make sure and do in our private groups in particular, not only on the fan page. The fan page is another great place to share your stuff, what it is you're doing. We want to help you get more people watching what it is you're doing, and we want to share and like and broadcast it out. Today's Dean's broadcast of his message at church, I shared that on my private page, right? And I know for sure 4 people that are friends of mine who have no idea who Dean is began watching his talk. Right, so it's powerful. Make sure you do that as being a part of this group and who it is that you are following. You share to their. Oh, come here. Here, let me bring in some kids here. Share all that stuff. So my kids, this is my son Kelly. Look at the camera, not the screen. And this is our friend Ashley, who's a neighbor. Come over a little bit more so you're not being blocked out. They came to me. Oh, go get a flyer. Can you run and go get a flyer really quick? So they came to me today. They obviously are very smart kids because they have been watching this entrepreneurial stuff going on and these live shows that we're doing. And they came to me and they go, hey, we have an idea. And I think I told some of you they wanted to do their own YouTube channel, which we're going to do. We're going to get on it, but there's a lot more work, I think, involved in it than they thought there was going to be. But they were scootering somewhere and they came back and they said, Dad, we got this great idea. We're going to do car washes in the neighborhood. So they call it Kids Car Wash. That's a pretty good title. That's a good name of the business. Kids Car Wash. And they made these flyers over there on my computer in the other room. And they went right out about how long after coming up with the idea? Maybe 45 minutes? Yeah. 45 minutes after coming up with the idea, printing out their flyers, they immediately went out and they got a cell. And did you already done with it?
Yeah.
Really? Mm-hmm. And you didn't damage the car, so Dad doesn't have to pay any damages or nothing like that? Nice.
She liked us because she gave us more because we vacuumed her car.
Oh, that's a tip. How much was it?
She gave us a $2 tip.
So would you price it at $10 for a big car? What kind of car does she have?
She had a small car.
Oh, $5.
Small car. But we vacuumed her car too.
Oh my gosh. So you charge extra for a vacuum?
Well, no.
Was it an upsell?
Offered.
Okay,
Yeah,
well, that's called an upsell. So the car wash is the sell. Then the upsell is the vacuum.
Yeah.
And another upsell is the Armor All on the tires. And then they gave you a tip. Fantastic. Love these kids. This is fantastic. All right, where's my money? I get a little piece of it. I get a piece of the action. You use my soap, you use my white towels, and my bucket. There's overhead. You got to learn about overhead. No. Get out of here. I'm sorry I gave you such props. You almost knocked over my drink. All right. Proud moment for me, these kids going out and actually doing it. And I purposely kind of left them alone a little bit because they looked at me like, hey, aren't you going to do some stuff for me? And I said, no, the computer's back there, use it. And they did nearly every bit of it by themselves. I made one correction and made the graphic a little bit bigger. All right, so they walked in at the perfect time. What? Hold on one second. All right, so that's it, guys. So I hope that's a good enough update for you. Again, look for the video for creating a Facebook Live and using other cameras and other stuff that's going to be in the private group. If you're not in the private group yet, you need to be there. It's cheap. I'm telling you, tomorrow it's going to go up. So in the YouTube Live producers group, it's only $4.99. I would just get in now because tomorrow I'm going to raise the price to $9.99 like Create, Launch, and Profit. So get in now, $4.99. A month. You can get out anytime you want. I promise you, if you've been around and watching anything that I'm doing, I am doing my best to stay on top of everything that's going on. I get beat to the punch a little bit by Dean and some other people, but I go a little bit deeper, right? I try to find other tools. I pay for other tools. I test them out. I tell you, don't waste your money. So I can save you money in the long run because I'm trying to get into these things and find out what's going on. We're going to work out some of these things, like these odd things that kind of come up, like how do people know when you're using Live Leap that you're not actually live on that Facebook page? How do you deal with that? Is it an issue that needs to be worried about? Is it problematic, or is it okay? We'll be talking about which third-party applications that you should be using, all that kind of stuff. So the private group, I think, is worth it for sure. I know it's going to be worth it. Get in there, $4.99, piece of cake, especially John North. If you're just going to use from John North, that video that we created on Facebook Live or Facebook ads using the Business Manager, just that series that's going to be coming out. I'm looking, and I'm not sure if John agrees. I think it's going to be like 3 videos at least, and maybe 4, because that first one went an hour and a half just on the introduction into the Business Manager app. Right, so that was only an hour, and that was only one aspect at an hour and a half. We have a whole another tool to talk about that's going to hopefully make things a little bit easier. And I can't imagine that it's not going to be more or less than probably 3 videos. It may be 4. Thank you, Nabi. Nabi from Australia. You got props from Nabi in Australia. He says, "Good job, kids," or "Well done, kids."
Thank you.
And John North says it's a bargain. It is a bargain. I'm telling you, $4.99. to learn the stuff we're going to be telling you. And John North is a genius when it comes to Facebook ads, and you don't want to miss his videos and other stuff, not just Facebook ads. I found out with John that we have very similar backgrounds, and we live on entirely different ends of the earth. And so that was so interesting getting to know him a little bit more about some of the stuff that's gone on in his life and where he's been. And he has a zero to hero story, not that much different than mine. All right, so there you go. That's it. I'm done blabbering. I gotta get a hold of these kids and ask them more about what happened with their business that they just created just minutes ago. All right, I'll see you guys later.